Hey guys, I'm Heather, and sorry about that. My three-legged cat had to make an appearance. We're sitting outside. I would show you, but you can't really see it, but my duck is swimming in the pool behind me. Anyway, today I wanted to kind of discuss a little bit of the planning process of planning a Disney trip. We go to Walt Disney World usually once a year, at least the past few years we have. And we've actually been adding kind of like a smaller trip in between, like our big trips. And I really like doing it. You don't get as much done, obviously, but it's a little bit easier for us to budget. And you kind of can pick and choose maybe smaller sections of time that aren't going to be quite as busy as others. So, for instance, like if you go just for a quick weekend at the beginning of December, you're missing the Thanksgiving crowd and you're missing the Christmas crowd, but there's that little window in between where the weather is usually still pretty decent and it's not as crowded. So we've done that. We've done that little trip before, a few days that time of the year. And right now we're planning one for July. Well, we've already planned it. We're waiting on our trip to start in July. So I thought I would just share a few things that might make the planning process easier for you and your family, especially if you have never been to Disney World. So, and I've really got to narrow it down to just kind of some top tips because I know so much. I know there's so many things to touch on, and I've got to narrow it down so this video it doesn't take forever. So let's get into it. My first tip is going to be if you have small children, especially, stay at one of the all-star resorts. And contrary to what others may say about the quality of the resort versus like the Polynesian or the Grand Floridian, you're not going to get the same amenities, but you don't really need them. I mean, your little 3 and 4 year olds aren't going to be in a hot tub, surely. I mean, not very long, maybe anyway. They're probably going to be wore out. They're probably not going to spend a ton of time around the resort, really, unless you're planning to spend several days there at the resort itself, not going to a park. So they're going to use the pool. They're going to run around and play on a playground. And then you guys are going to be busy being at Magic Kingdom, Animal Kingdom, and so forth. So for me, with little kids, I think something like an all-star resort, one, it's way more affordable. I would compare it to staying at like the Holiday Inn at Disney Springs or the Drury Inn, Disney Springs. I have priced those for the same dates that we're going. And I'll be honest with you, they cost more in many dates that I have been price checking. They cost more than, say, All-Star Sports or All-Star Movies. Now, I will say the rooms that I just mentioned, those hotels, they do offer rooms that sleep more than 4 people. And they might be a little roomier. But what I really like about staying on property for us is we don't like to drive when we get to Disney World. We don't want to navigate Orlando, Lake Buena Vista, all the areas. We kind of want to just get to where we're going and rely on other transportation. And that can get pricey if you do Uber everywhere you go. So I really enjoy staying at a Disney resort for the free transportation. I don't mind being on a Disney bus from park to park or wherever we're going. I don't mind it at all. We love the Skyliner. We typically stay at Pop Century just for that. But the other big perk to bringing your little one to an all-star resort or Pop Century is because the design around the resort is all larger than life characters. So you have, of course, like you have your Toy Story characters at All-Star Movies. You have Love Bug there. They have a Love Bug section for people that are old enough to remember the Love Bug. Then over at Pop Century, you have a large, I think it's Lady and the Tramp, a Roger Rabbit, Jungle Book characters. Over at Art of Animation, Oh, they have the Little Mermaid themed rooms. They have the Cars themed rooms. And their Cars area of that resort, amazing. Like, as an adult, I want to stay there. We just haven't yet, but it's on our list. But anyway, what I mean by the resort is decorated that way, I mean like you're walking from building to building, going to the pool or the dining area, and you're walking past these larger than life statues, I guess you would say. And it's just really fun. Your child's gonna remember it forever. First of all, I think they're gonna associate this fun Disney trip with these big, larger than life characters and the bright theming. And especially your first day when you get there and it's check-in and your kid's like, oh my gosh, there's lots of color, lots of activity. It's like sensory overload, but in the best way possible. So my number one tip, especially if you're a first timer with little kids, is to do that. Go and enjoy that. I mean, sure, you could stay somewhere that looks like a Four Seasons. You could stay at the Four Seasons, but I don't know how memorable that's going to be for your kids. So anyway, that's just my 2 cents. And this whole video is just going to be my 2 cents. I mean, if you think otherwise, or if you've been lots of times and you're watching this and you're like, oh, that's terrible advice, we all have our own opinion. No judgment, but yeah, this is when people ask me, hey, we've never been, we want to start the planning process, what do you recommend? This is the advice that I would give my best friends. So I'm going to give it to you. So another big piece of advice is, oh, well, actually I should back up just a notch. With staying at any Disney World resort or a Good Neighbor hotel, you can look into that. If you don't have a travel agent, you should get one. It's free for you to use for them to plan your Disney vacation. Or you can always message me, or if you have another friend that goes to Disney all the time, they probably can answer most of your questions. But one of the big perks of staying on property is that you get to go into the parks. It's called early entry. And Disney used to do it different years ago, but the up-to-date time frame is 30 minutes before the park opens to a regular guest. So what that means for you is virtually no wait time at a few attractions, at least. Starting, I think it just started the end of May. Now they're having a bunch of the characters kind of roam first thing in the morning for that 30-minute early entry time frame. So it's a great time if you want to go and snag some pictures with your kiddos and Mickey and Minnie and their friends without a super long line, and it doesn't cut in to your park day. You can go get in line for those characters throughout the day, but this is just going to make more room for ride times. So anyway, back to what I was going to say about my second piece of advice is if you can fit it in, do a character meal. One, you don't have to do it every day. You don't have to hit up all of them. But if your kid is like straight up princess loving and, love all things Cinderella and whatnot, there's a couple options of character dining that you're going to see princesses specifically. If you have some Winnie the Pooh lovers, there's a great option for them. And if you don't really care and you kind of just want to do the traditional Fab Five, Mickey and his friends, there's plenty of options there as well. And I really like it because a lot of those are buffet options or kind of all you care to enjoy. So it's more than enough food for everybody, and it's enough variety that everyone's going to find something. Now, I will say they are a little pricey. Usually $60-ish range up. I know the character breakfasts cost significantly less, or they did in the past. We haven't booked one lately, but yeah, they can get a little pricey, but you are getting up close autographs, pictures, videos, memories with these characters and your kid, and they come around like multiple times. It's not just a one and done. So everyone in your party gets those pictures and whatnot. So I recommend, if it's your first time, your kids have never met Mickey Mouse, I think it's a great option. I would recommend it. And then number 3, really, this one kind of goes without saying, but if you do the early entry, if you're staying at if you're staying at an on-site resort, utilize early entry and stay the whole day. And I know you might be like, oh my gosh, that's a long day. Like, we always go back to our room. Definitely you can do that. But if your kids can nap in a stroller, if you guys are only going, say, for a few days, which is going to be my next tip in just a moment, I think it's a great idea to park in the shade, park the stroller in the shade, get some snacks, get some drinks, relax, go get in line for a parade or in the evening for the fireworks. Because first time, remember, your first time ever, Magic Kingdom has like 20 plus rides. There's a lot. And your little one can ride almost everything. Like, most of the rides are like 2-3-year-old age range can ride, or even babies. Like, most of the attractions are for anybody, your grandparents that you bring along, and so forth. So that being said, there's a lot to do. And part of this tip, though, is do not expect to do everything. You're not going to on your first trip, especially if you're going for just a few days. So anyway, my advice is, if you can, get there early and stay the most you can. And if the heat, look, if you're going in the summer, we have done this. We have went back to the room after lunch, spent a few hours in the swimming pool, or even went into the hotel and got some air conditioning and took a nap, and then come back to the parks. And I think that's fine if you're missing a couple hours, but I will say you're going to miss out on a lot of things. But if that's what makes your kid happy, if everyone in your party is better off because they had that rest, then by all means take it. But I'm just pointing out there's a lot to do, and there's not a lot of time to do it. So, my next tip was going to be, how long you stay at Disney World for. This is kind of a big one. If you have really little ones, like we were just discussing, that maybe need naps and things like that, maybe you don't want to go for a whole week. Maybe if you're not really big into crowds and you're not sure how you're going to handle the parks and the crowds and all the overstimulation, maybe just book a couple days. You're not going to do everything in even 4 or 5 days. Okay. I mean, if you're there 2 weeks, I don't know that you'll do everything. But a shorter trip is more budget friendly, for one. 2, it's dipping your toes into the Disney community. You may have been before when you were a kid, and now you're planning for your family. I promise you, it is not the same trip. So much has changed, and it's ever evolving and changing. So if you're watching this video a year from now, things may be way different. But just know that, yes, Disney can be expensive, but there's things you can customize to fit in your budget, and that's something that a good travel agent can do for you, or like I said, myself, or somebody that has been several times. I'm really good about finding budget-friendly options for families that are looking for that. So for an example, this trip, we're going to stay at All-Star Movies. We've never stayed there. We wanted to try it out. Our plan was to go to Magic Kingdom for 1 day. The next day, have a resort day. And what a resort day would mean to you, and you have especially little kids, it means swimming in the pool, doing the crafts that they may offer at your resort, doing maybe the movie night that they have out by the pool or in the courtyard. They'll have like a movie playing, things like that, where you can kind of take your time, you can get out of the heat, and just relax. Everyone needs that on vacation, right? So it gives you time to do that. It's really good to plan one of those if you do plan like a longer trip. I kind of like planning one of those every couple of days of a park day. It's nice to have a rest day because your feet are going to hurt. You're going to be hot. Now, again, I'm talking summer vacations. I guess if you go in the winter, you might not be too hot, but you can still swim. They're seasonally heated pools usually. So, anyway, back to what I was saying about having a resort day. Oh, a shorter trip. So we're going to that was our plan, to go to one park for 1 day, have a rest day, and then we're flying. So then we would fly home. But I was looking, and they actually have a Hollywood Studios after-hour event the day that we fly in. And it just kind of made sense to us to go. We can get there as early as 7 at night, and it lasts till 12:30 in the morning. So basically no lines, no excessive heat. And yeah, it should be a really enjoyable option for us. And we've been to Hollywood Studios before during the day. We've spent full days there. So we're not missing out by just going in the evening at all. So we're actually doing that, Magic Kingdom, and a resort day. So kind of like 3 days of vacation, but we're only going to be there 2 full days. So keep that in mind. You can always do that. You can, especially if you have really little ones, 1 day might be a lot. Or if your budget allows, another way to do that would be to spread your trip out longer and do half days. Go in the morning for a couple hours, come back to the resort, rest, hang out, take a nap, and then come back in the evening. That's a great plan. But if it's your first time and you're only going for a couple days, you're probably going to miss out on a bunch of stuff. But go at your own pace. That should really, I guess, be a tip on its own, is you are going to have to pace yourself for what you and your family like to make it enjoyable. You can be going to ride everything, and that's what your purpose of the trip is. Or you may not be big on rides and you're going to do the shows and the other entertainment. It just really depends on what you're planning to get out of the trip. But again, just know you're not going to do it all. So pick some top things that you really want to do. And once you do that, that's great. And anything after that is a bonus. So my next tip is going to be using the Disney app. They have a My Disney Experience app. And of course, there's a map on there. You can filter where the bathrooms are, where the dining locations are, where the rides are. It also tells you what the wait time is for each attraction. So you know before you hike it across the park, if you're going to have to wait an hour long line, or maybe you should wait and maybe later on during the day try it again and not wait so long, or wait till you're over there for your dining reservation or something like that to ride that ride. So utilize that app. It's free and it helps so much. One other important tip kind of along that line is, if it's in your budget, I think you should utilize the Lightning Lane service. The Genie Plus is actually the name of the service. And the Skip the Line pass is called a Lightning Lane. Back in the day, it was called a Fast Pass. So if you went before, you kind of understand the Fast Pass situation. This is different. You pay a daily fee, and that's going to vary each day. But yeah, it could be $20, could be $15, could be $30 on a busy holiday weekend or something. But that pass, you can watch many videos online of people explaining it and showing you how to use it. But essentially, you're going to kind of set up your day with rides that you really want to ride, and they're going to give you a window of time to come back to use it. And if you are planning to do that, I suggest watching videos of other people using it. If you want to know if it's worth it or not, you could watch our video when we go. But I'm going to say, yeah, it is. I mean, a lot of rides that we wait 0 to maybe 10 minutes for, without the Lightning Lane, we likely would have waited an hour, 2 hours, maybe even more sometimes. So for us, it's definitely worth it. And I would rather spend my time eating, trying snacks, sitting in the shade, things like that, resting, rather than just standing in line for every ride that I want to ride. So I think it's worth it. If you can budget it, do it. Another popular add-on is the Memory Maker. And basically you pay a fee, and either for the week or you can buy it per day. If you're only going for like 1 or 2 days, you can maybe just buy it for the 1 day. It'd be cheaper. But basically you get all your ride downloads, so ride photos. Some of them are videos of you on the ride. It's really fun to have that of your family and of your kids, especially if it's like their first roller coaster. So, and then of course they have PhotoPass photographers stationed throughout the park. and they're happy to take pictures of you in front of the castle or with the characters. There's always one there. So when you're meeting Mickey, say at the Town Square Theater on Main Street, there'll be a PhotoPass person, and they'll be capturing those, and you're going to get those photos if you purchase Memory Maker. And do purchase it before your trip. You want everything to download and work good when you're there. So you can get it while you're on the trip, but I would not. I would just do that in advance. Another great money tip really is if you know you want to plan your trip for a year or however long down the road, go ahead, get with a travel agent, put $200 down. That's what the down payment is. And then make payments from that time until 30 days before your vacation. So that's really helpful because you don't have to just come up with all the money at one time. And if you need to change the date, if a couple of months out you realize, hey, we decided we're going to move it a few months, you can always change that date if needed. And I know people that have done this for 2-3 years before a trip. They started the planning and putting so much a week or whatever. It's helpful for the budgeting process. Again, it's going to be an expensive trip, either way you look at it, but there are things you can do to bring the cost down. And sometimes we do those things, and sometimes it is worth paying the extra fee for the experience, like the Lightning Lane service, like Genie Plus. We would rather pay a little extra and ride everything than for free, stand in a lot of lines and only ride half the things. Well, not for free. It's expensive to get in. When we go in July, Magic Kingdom is about $200 a person per day. But I kind of don't want to spend $200 a person to ride 5 or 6 things because the lines were long. So I'd rather spend $220 and ride everything. So anyway, those are my basic tips. I have a bunch more, but for the sake of time, we'll kind of leave it at that. We are going to be packing, we are going to be doing a packing video showing you what we're taking along with like our travel day. So you can follow along and see those things. And then of course, see how we do our trip. 2 adults, just a couple of days, not having to bring strollers and all the stuff for little kids. So we're probably going to have an easier time than some of you are that are going to be bringing your little ones and your babies. But that's okay because we've made the memories when we have little ones and a little one. We have one. So yeah, that was pretty much a short list of some things for a first timer. There's a lot more tips I would give somebody. If you care to know them, you can let me know. I can share more. But yeah, you're bringing your little kids. You're going to have a good time. You're bringing your big kids. They're going to love all the big roller coasters and have a good time. But if you just want to go yourself or with a spouse or a sister trip or something like that, there's plenty of things you can do as an adult at Disney World. For us, we're really looking forward to it. We're really going to enjoy it just being an anniversary trip and kind of taking it slow as we want to take it, or stay out all night if we choose to. So anyway, if you have any questions, you can put them down below. I'd be glad to answer them. And yeah, we'll see you guys next time. Bye.